Energy, Thermal, Oil and Gas, and Renewables. And our moderator is Ryan Yallow, Auxesia Holdings. Ryan, if you'd like to introduce the panel, please.
I'd be happy to, John. Let's get up here real quick. I think we're still just Mr. Actors, I think. Maybe the hell sleep after lunch, so. They do a much better job of introducing themselves, so I think I'll start over to my right with Ken Mike Tune. Say a little bit about yourself, your interest in energy.
Thank you. My name is Ken Stevens. I am a Thunderbird graduate from the class of 1990. And I'm happy to tell everybody that I've been living the Thunderbird dream in Southeast Asia for the last 21 years. I'm a managing partner of Leopard Capital. As you know from Doug's many appearances on the stage, we are a private equity investor in frontier markets of Asia, focusing on Cambodia, Laos, Bangladesh, and also a few other countries in the region. In all the countries we look at, we see a lot of opportunities in renewable energy and other elements of the energy business.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hiêu. I'm an investment officer of Petro Vietnam Finance Operation, PVMC. Before PVMC, I worked PricewaterhouseCoopers and local security firms. And PVMC is a financial institution in Vietnam where Petro Vietnam owns 78%. Our share capital is around $330 million US. So Petro Vietnam is the biggest group in Vietnam, and we are the largest non-banking financial firm in Vietnam. Our total assets this year is estimated to be $3.5 billion US. We are listed and one of the largest blue chip stock in the listed local market. And our products, what we do, PVMC is a combination of topical investment bank with the service ranging from investment, corporate finance, project finance, financial advisory, together with other topical credit services of commercial bank. So our clients mostly includes Petro Vietnam subsidiary, affiliate, and members, and together with other groups in Vietnam. Beside Petro Vietnam, our Morgan Stanley also owns 10% of PVMC. But in this year or the next, there will be more institutions like Morgan Stanley to come in and become our sharing partners and shareholders. So what do we do here? I think that you may know that there is large capital needs of this country to develop the energy infrastructures. And as one of the biggest and most significant economic driver of this nation, Petro Vietnam needs around the total investment amount every year could be around $2 billion US. So Petro Vietnam in general and PVMC look forward to cooperate with investors, fund managers, corporate leaders to find mutual benefits and profits in this nation, especially in oil, gas, and energies. So I'm very happy to be all of you. Thank you.
Been together for 2 days now. It feels like we should be a bit more familiar. I'm Gavin Smith. I work for Dragon Capital, one of the longest-standing investment management companies in Vietnam. 17 years, just celebrated our anniversary, and one of the leading ones in bringing institutional investors to Vietnam, and a long-term financial partner in the Vietnam economy. Specifically, I deal with the Clean Development Fund, which is a dual region fund focused on Mekong countries and also some of the South Asian countries. And we are currently investing in clean tech, three main areas. One, renewable energy production, energy efficiency measures in manufacturing, and then also what we describe as conservation, which is a lot of the water and waste infrastructure. And delighted to join this panel this afternoon. You had the benefit of hearing from my CEO, Dominic Scriven, I think in the first session of yesterday. And we see the opportunities, we realize the challenges of Vietnam, and I'll be happy to share some experiences. Take maybe a few more questions in this session.
Everyone, I'm Nathan, I'm the advisor to Auxesia Holding. I'm not the expert in the energy and oil and gas sector, but I have spent some time with Edison Utility in the U.S., Southern California, and I'm part of a team in the capital setting up the infrastructure fund, which I have a lot to work with the energy sector when we try to put money to work. I'm here today as an outsider, giving you some good observation, what work, what may not work in Vietnam. Hopefully that's another. Thank you for being here.
I think with that, I'd actually like to start with oil and gas a bit, if I might here. I'm curious to hear what are the things that PBSC sees as far as oil and gas for opportunities over the next 5 years?
I think that we can obviously see that the energy sector of this nation has lots of things to develop. And in terms of Vietnam and PBMC, we have so many projects to need to be on, and every year we look forward to partners and investors. Because of the size of the projects, we look forward to, we often work with foreign capitals, and many of Vietnam's subsidiaries and company, well, the strongest one go into the public market. Because of capitalists, it's easier to raise money in public markets in terms of the size. Moreover, there's still many greenfields projects and companies that we are still on the process of setting up, and we're calling for investment. And as sole advisor of the group, we are still working on this.
Are there any, as a follow-up, are there any specific projects you're looking for investment in? Are you looking more, I guess, in oil and gas? Are you talking more upstream? Are you doing exploration and extraction? Are you doing more refining? What are the types of things that are coming across your desk?
In terms of, it's quite very dependent and has a very wide range, because from upstream we have areas in the oceans we still need to explore, and I said before, most of our most profitable and strongest members are going public. They're already public, and they are on the process of going more companies to be public. For example, the drilling company, the exploration company, the trading and oil and gas services. Also in the middle streams and the downstream, we also have a significant company who are playing in the field. So I think that the opportunity is varies, and we can find opportunities in many places within oil and gas industry here.
Kevin, I'd like to turn to you for a second, if I might. It seems that I think many people might think that the oil and gas industry, maybe alternative energy, are completely opposed. I'm curious what you think about that, and specifically here in Vietnam, what are the things that you're interested in doing?
Not opposed. When we're in a deficient energy supply situation as we are in Vietnam, wouldn't know it from this ballroom, the number of lights we have in here, but there's a serious energy supply problem here in Vietnam. We're all pitching towards the same goal, which is keeping the lights on. So it's not an opposition necessarily. Fossil fuels are reality. Their demise is also a reality. Just a question of debating how long that's going to take. So we do have to find alternatives. Vietnam has to find alternatives. And we're at a critical point in the development of the Vietnamese energy market. We're moving from self-sufficiency, from indigenous resources, towards very significant exposure to imported energy sources. And that's a critical point in the development of the maturity of the market here. That does pose some challenges by exposure to international commodity prices. Therefore, we, on launching our fund here in Vietnam, advocated a wider base of energy generation to spread the risk, to insure against international commodity fluctuations, and also to give a more consistent supply. We have a very seasonal peak and trough in energy production because of the concentration in hydropower in Vietnam. It doesn't necessarily have to be like that. The government does need to realize that paying the same price as you pay for coal or hydro will not generate new sources of power production in Vietnam. So all the marginal growth will come from higher cost energy sources, coal, more remote, more difficult to get coal, imported coal at true international prices, can't be subsidized. Renewables are more expensive than burning coal or old power plants that have already been depreciated necessarily. So there are just choices, but they are more expensive choices, and they can make a very significant contribution to the energy supply position of the next 10 years. And it could be the 5% that the government wants to see, but it could be more. And that's for the great benefit of the economic development of the country in the long run, if it is.
If I could follow up, when you're talking about alternative energy, production, is your focus more on the consumer base? Are we talking about off-grid opportunities here, or are we on-grid? What are the specific things that you're looking for?
There are some limited on-grid opportunities because we also enjoy one of the lowest power costs in the region here in Vietnam. Therefore, that does limit the development of renewable energy in Vietnam to specific circumstances. One of the best ones is pure merchant power, where you're creating power to supply it back to a factory or an industrial zone or a housing region, as has been done here in Saigon South, where you have a captive customer who, for the sake of having consistent supply when they want it 24 hours a day, is willing to pay more for their energy, because we do have power cuts here from the grid supply. That's definitely an opportunity. And there are still good opportunities in the small hydro sector, grid connected, which have low impact, can be done with international standards, EIAs, environmental impact assessments, and still pass, and still attract foreign investment, and certainly still fit our criteria as a responsible investment. That's all possible. Off-grid is very much limited to the islands. The grid development actually in Vietnam is pretty good, much better than Cambodia, much better than Laos, where the grid is very dissected, very distributed. And Vietnam has pretty good coverage. We're in the top 90% of the population are grid connected at the moment. The government would very much like that to make that 100. That can be very expensive. And that's a big play for NGOs and development organizations rather than commercial investment at the moment. Talk about consumption. Demand side management, absolutely critical. If we're going to close the supply-demand gap, energy efficiency has massive potential in Vietnam. Because it's been subsidized heavily on cost, people have been liberally spending very little money on a lot of electricity, wasting it. Now, our long-term projection is that price power will step up significantly and potentially above the level of inflation in the next 5 years, thereby making any efficiency investment extremely profitable. Because we're very inefficient now, potential savings are great, unit costs increasing, double the efficiency of that investment for anybody that's running a hotel like this, or running a new office building, 50-story office building, which is going to churn air conditioning at 100% of capacity. So we think that's a great, a necessary part of investment.
It's very interesting. So there are a lot of things going on here that I'm not sure that many of us realize. I almost like to take a step back for a second and direct this question towards Nathan. As kind of an observer that has experience in the United States and Southern California in the energy market, comparing it to Vietnam, what do you see?
They will advocate, hopefully challenge some of the point by raising up a key driver that hopefully can give some force to them. Of course, if I don't know, there's no PPA in Vietnam, so how do you handle that? Long-term power purchasing agreement with a single buyer, which is EVN, they never sign any PPA. First turn off for me when I do a EV energy project in Vietnam. The only project that actually has a very favorable PPA is the Nhân Trạch Thermal Power 1, would pay the petroleum, but a very good deal with the government 10 years ago. And that's it. No one ever get a PPA again. Secondly, the loss ratio of the transmission grid, north to south, I heard somewhere between 15 and 20% loss. So that's a huge issue, efficiency. No one ever, even EVN, have a plan to fix that. And we don't have the market clearing price yet. Came back here in 2007 and EVN set up sort of like a private company, state-owned, to run the market clearing price, where supply and demand meet up and clear the market, enable power supplier to make profit, but also correct itself the supply and demand, but not happening yet. So I don't know. Recently, you hear the deal that the government free up the retail price a lot, but not necessarily the wholesale price can go up one-to-one scale. It's not that way, because as you know, EVN need a lot of money, so they're not going to give you that free, in free, right? You know. I would love if you can touch on that. And then the last point I want to raise is that renewable energy in the U.S. Is way low. I know addition has expanded into solar panel and biomass and actually you stick with hydro, but with one max station, things like that. But here, I just recently found out the cost of development when you build a wind power, it costs you somewhere 1.5 to 2 million per megawatt in terms of capacity, while you only do hydro about 1 million. Then the retail price, the Indian, not going to get you have a free market price. Then I'm not sure the investment in renewable energy can make money or not. Even though in the long run, but as I said, as an outsider looking in, I had some concerns. So hopefully, Gavin can share with us.
I've seen Gavin feverishly writing. I think I want to get the opportunity to maybe address the concerns that were raised when I talk about Cambodia and Laos.
As opposed to what Gavin told you about Vietnam, the power situation in Cambodia and Laos is quite different. First off, in Cambodia, we have some of the most expensive power on earth, 25 cents per kilowatt hour, and that's only if you're one of the lucky 20% of the population that's actually on the grid. Cambodia is buying unofficially power from Vietnam. If you go anywhere near the border, you'll see low voltage wires strung across, connecting up the houses and small factories. And if Vietnam's even charging half of 25, those little operators are making a ton of money. Laos, in comparison, has very affordable, cheap power, just as Vietnam does. You're probably well aware of their plan to become the battery of the Mekong and produce power for export all throughout the region. Hydro dams are their specialty. They have water in abundance, and they have a lot of good projects coming up that will take the power from about 1,000 megawatts at present to as much as 10,000 megawatts over the next 5 to 10 years. So it's a very substantial growth story. Just a quick note on renewable energy and power for us. At Leopard, we have we look at the subject for two reasons. One, both in Cambodia and in Laos, the projects are good investments in their own right. We can get very favorable returns in both of these industries. Secondly, both of these have strategic value to us because we can help to take an existing manufacturer, an existing agriculture company, and enhance their competitiveness by bolting on some form of renewable energy. We look at a lot of agricultural and agribusiness projects in both countries. So there's an abundance of rice husk, which can be used for rice mills to subsidize that power and bring power costs down tremendously. Or in the situation as Laos, where we have some very large agribusiness companies like tapioca starch producers who are going into the biogasification sector to recapture the heat for their drying operations. So for us, we'll invest if it makes sense. And then second, if we take an existing company, we've made 12 investments already in Cambodia and Laos. If we can add on some renewable energy to their portfolio, that'll help them as well.
I'm now anticipating the response from Gavin.
The answers to Nate's questions are yes, no, yes, no, yes. Did you all make notes earlier? That's quite a far-ranging set of questions. Actually, got to back up what Ken says in terms of increasing efficiency, creating consistent supply and predictable source for factories, particularly in agricultural processing areas, is a massive benefit and a very profitable investment if you can find the right partners. PPAs, EDM of course does sign PPAs. They are varied length, quality, depth, color of paper, type of ink. You get every variety under the sun, unfortunately, and that's part of the problem for people coming here to want to invest in energy. It is a very varied situation. They're small under 30 megawatts, standardized PPA. You get what you see. It's very simple. They realize very pragmatic decision to develop that. They realize that small projects can't spend 7 years discussing with EVN what should be in a PPA contract. That's AES have done recently. If you're a big supplier, strategic supplier, you can get long-term PPA, but prepared to be patient because you're going to need it. There is the first inklings of a competitive generation market on a test basis for a percentage of everybody's generation coming. And that doesn't apply to the large PPAs that are long-term, and it doesn't apply to the small under 30s. It doesn't apply to the wind tariff, because there is a special wind tariff for Vietnam as well, so that everybody else has to contribute a little bit to this test competitive generation market. Now, as you imagine, in a competitive generation market, if you have a shortage of supply, the price will go up. So the test market is already showing higher prices than what's generally paid by EVN to those captive customers. And then you'd expect that to happen. If you don't have enough supply to meet demand, you create a competitive market to sell to market, prices go up. Transmission loss, actually it's not bad. There are worse countries for transmission. Problem is the shape of the country and the regional nature of the generation. So that some seasons they have to shift a lot of power from north to south and south to north respectively. And you do get losses. Losses went up last year because the supply situation was so thin that it had to move a lot of power to meet short-term demand. And actually it got less efficient as a result. Price to producers, yeah, if EVN charges 1 cent more, strangely producers don't get 1 cent more. Why is that? Well, on paper at least, EVN is making a $400 million loss this last year, which needs to be recouped somehow to sustain it. And electricity has a double or treble factor on inflation. It's not just the cost of itself, it's the wages, it's the cost of goods that feed back into inflation. And the government is very sensitive to that at the moment. Therefore, they are gradually and cautiously letting EDN have more control over what it charges its customers for power. And that is a progressive step. That's good news. And it is linked to the cost of production, which is good news. And we look forward to the day when there's a more deregulated market and EDN's production units are cut off from the state-owned enterprise and allowed to be privatized. That in turn, I think, will create huge efficiencies in EDN by necessity. And it is a bloated organization with extraordinarily high costs for what it produces. So that's a quick run through. For us, we like small PPAs under 30 megawatts because it's a very predictable situation, one of the few areas where it is predictable.
I think I'm going to have a couple of return questions, but I'm going to wait on those until the audience has a couple. But before I do that, I'm going to give the final question to Hugh, actually. I wonder about PVFC or PVM and natural gas and things like ethanol. There's still fossil fuels, but fuels that can be created from corn, sugarcane, and things like that, and as energy sources. Are those the types of things that you're seeing interest in, or are those the types of things that you're seeing you're going to be moving towards in the future?
Thank you, Ray. First of all, I think that we are seeing that the energy structure in Vietnam is moving from the very traditional hydro and thermals into new source of energy like gas and renewable because of the geography issue and many other issues. This is very good news. Petro-Vietnam building some very large gas electricity plant in the south, which is very close to the oil field, which is advantageous. And because of the scale, and Petro-Vietnam has a very good, better position to negotiate with EVN in terms of the electricity price. So for the PPAs, which is the more concerning issue for investors in electricity, they can be more confident when investing in gas electricities within Petro-Vietnam projects. And you can also be very easily to see that Vietnam has a very low cost of light, which is obviously good for the wind energy. And Petro-Vietnam already built some wind farm in the central part of Vietnam and expanding toward the north and south. In terms of other source of energy like fuel, ethanol fuel, we have Petro-Vietnam built 3 projects, one in the north, one in the central, and one in the south of Vietnam, to produce ethanol fuel to use in car, mobile. The materials will be classified, and the advantages is have strong support from the government, and all the outputs, the product outputs will be used and distributed by Petro-Vietnam Gas, which hold around 30% of the transportation fuel of Vietnam. So all the product output is warranties. Petro-Vietnam is just focused on the input side, how we produce the final products, and then we can be sure about who is going to use it. Together with the price balance, will support it because the environment matters. We are very positive about renewable energies, solar, wind, pure ethanol near futures because the government sees the significance of this. Of course, that the story in the end takes some time, 1 or 2 years to be perfectly solved. But in terms of Vietnam, we have a very strong position to deal very deeply and we have things on the table to discuss with them. And as we mentioned about energy, I also to broaden our story into energy services, other kind of services, not just generation, electricity, energy generation, but also other services around it, like service equipment, providing services, utilities, and oil and gas distributions, especially has large population in Vietnam, and the portion of people who use gas for daily usage is not very, it's not developed like other countries. So the oil and gas distribution sectors still have a lot of field to play. And we are trying to, Vietnam are trying to, we already had company working in that area, and some are go public, some are still looking for investor corporate, and I see opportunities in all of you.
Thank you. I think in the interest of time, because I think we've got probably about 7 minutes left, I'd like to take right now the opportunity to open it up, if I can. I know Nathan's got about 7 that he wants to ask. So. Go ahead.
I brought up yesterday that in India they had subsidies to government. Are there any programs similar in Vietnam or Cambodia, Laos?
Yeah, in the region, there's a number of industries that have been received favorable adders and feed-in tariffs. Solar in Thailand is a very good example of that. On a smaller scale in Laos, Cambodia, it's mainly the design rather than the technology. If you're doing rural electrification, you get places like Cambodia and Laos up to 90%, which Vietnam enjoys. It's a loss leader. So there are groups that are paying up to as much as 10 cents per kilowatt hour for those hydro or those projects.
Just add the perspective, Thailand has a fully developed structure for subsidizing and encouraging investment in renewable energy. Vietnam has just begun that journey, and most recently the government has announced the support for wind energy, which includes an increased PPA pricing EDM plus a 1 cent feed-in tariff adder. Slightly strange construction, and it only adds up to 7.8 cents in the end, which compared to 18 cents in Thailand isn't apples, comparing apples with apples, I'm afraid. It is also accompanied by a generous set of tax reliefs for import of equipment, for CIT, not for capital gains, unfortunately, for foreign investors yet, but we're working on that one. Is it enough to create a wind industry in Vietnam with this long 1,500 kilometer coastline? Unfortunately not, because based on our calculations, only very vast wind resource sites will be profitable at that type of rate. CDM income is available as well for a short period of time under the current scheme until the end of 2012, but the actual price for carbon emission reductions has fallen dramatically. It was $40 a few years ago, pre-economic crisis. Now it's about, well, in retail markets, it's probably about $15. Producer gets paid maybe $10. So that's dropped significantly as a potential element of additional income that can create investment in renewable energy areas across the globe. And that needs to be factored in. CDM income is a quarter of what you used to be able to get. Therefore, the domestic consumer has to pay a little bit more for renewable energy. That's the reality. Great change does cost a little bit more.
I think that one of the questions that often gets asked, and I think I'll probably ask, it's a question worth asking. We do have subsidized electricity in Vietnam, and that is creating problem. We're in the middle of a country that is vastly industrializing at a very, very rapid rate, and that takes energy. And some of the companies don't have the ability to pay. There's a lot of talk, and I should say that there's talk they don't have the money to pay. And I'm curious to hear from both you and Ken, maybe the much will you allow. Do you think that the low price is going to, if it does go to market, when it does go to market, is it going to have a significant impact on a country that already has exceptional problems with interest rates, on the working capital of companies here in Singapore?
I think the best example is actually not in the energy sector, but the main subsidy here for between consumer cost and the actual cost of production is in relation to coal. The domestic coal industry is heavily subsidized, and government has made a forthright move to remove the subsidization of the coal price for industrial users. So if you're making cement or steel, you will be paying something closer to the domestic real price. Now, 90% maybe. Before that, it was about 60%. So you imagine you have a cement plant. Your input price has just gone up 25 to 30% for your key fuel, which is one of your biggest costs. And that will have an immediate impact on those cement businesses. Plus, they're in the middle of they're getting squeezed at both ends. Their costs just went up significantly, and their market just went down significantly, as we heard in the previous session. Demand has gone, costs have gone up. And many of them, I fear, will not survive unless they're very well run, the most efficient, in the best locations as well, so close to the market. So that's a key change that has taken place. Unfortunately, from my perspective, coal for power generation is still heavily subsidized to the tune of about $2 billion a year. That's the cost that the taxpayer is paying, but the consumer is not.
Regarding Cambodia and Laos, it is a slightly different story again. In Laos, there's no direct subsidy. It's the fact that so much of the power comes from hydroelectric that it's just cheap. Now the plants are in the process of being built. So in Laos, longer term, we think that 7 cents per kilowatt hour price will hold. And what this allows is the growth of the manufacturing base in Laos. There's a lot of industries we would love to be involved in Cambodia, but at 25 cents per kilowatt hour, it's very hard to invest in manufacturing. Laos, on the other hand, is right on the Thai border, it's right on the Vietnam border, and they're ramping up their manufacturing, taking advantage of those low prices. Cambodia, we actually have the opposite, where 25 cents per kilowatt hour is going to come down at some point in the near future. And the big debate is what happens when more supply comes online. Is the government going to share by dropping that 25 down to 15 and lower, or is it going to keep it subsidized for a while to keep existing producers back on the happy?
I think that we run out of time, so I'd like to thank all the panelists, and I would encourage our audience sitting out there to thank them as well.
Now, the real reason everyone's here are refreshments.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for being here this afternoon. I think it's late on Friday. Everyone's looking to leave and get a beer downstairs. Is that right? Well, first of all, I want to say welcome to our hotel. Vina Capital is a proud shareholder of this hotel. We recently made an investment in this hotel about 3 to 4 months ago. So please, if there's any feedback, please come and see me. Okay. Well, first of all, good afternoon. I trust the conference is going well. I've seen a lot of friends and colleagues here, and the feedback's been quite positive. I just got off the airplane from the Middle East, so I apologize. I haven't been around and participate in the conference. But one of the things that I was just hearing a gentleman talk to me about, he mentioned was agriculture and food. One of the things I was meeting with the folks in the Middle East about was what they call food security funds. So there's an effort right now going on in places like Doha, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Kuwait, whereby these emirates, these sovereign wealth funds are putting money into funds that allow them to secure food for the Middle East. Now, it does not mean that they will invest in land. They won't invest in land. They will invest in companies that produces food. In Vietnam, there's a number of food companies that accumulates food and commodities from the farmers and process it and resell it. So they would be looking to invest in these types of businesses. And their only requirement is that in hard times, in difficult times, they have the right of first refusal for a certain quantum of food. And when in a place like Vietnam and Cambodia, their primary focus is, as you probably can guess, rice. Okay? So today we have a panelist of expertise. I'd like to introduce, I'd like for them to introduce themselves to you a little bit later, but I'd like to introduce Bean Capital to yourself first. And I've had a lot of questions about our activities and some of the exits that we've had thus far. So I'm just going to be real brief, and then we go into the panel discussions. Vina Capital is the largest asset management company in Vietnam. We manage about $1.8 billion today, over 5 funds. Our private equity fund is about $800 million. We continue to grow as a firm through good investments and good exits, investments such as this hotel and exits, which we'll mention a little bit later. The areas of investments that we focus on are primarily the sectors that contribute to the domestic economy, which includes manufacturing and agriculture. Over the last 6 to 12 months, we've had some excellent exits, and we've sold our holding in a company called Halico, which is the largest vodka company in Vietnam. We sold it to Diageo, which is the owner of Blue Labels, Black Labels, Smirnoff. In addition, we've also exited our holding in the international school. We sold 80% of the school. We keep the remaining 20%. We sold it to Cognita, which is one of the world's largest educator. Further, we just signed an S&P, sales and purchase agreement with Fortis to sell the largest private hospital system in Vietnam, Am Ly Hospital. I think some of you have heard that in the newspaper. We've not mentioned any of the details because we haven't finalized it, but before I went on this trip, we did finalize the SPA and did sell our holding in that hospital to Fortis Healthcare. Now, these 3 exits just over the last 6 to 9 months have helped us deliver over 3.5 times multiple on our investment and over 50% return on IRR. At the same time, we actually have taken some of the proceeds of these investments and reinvested back into Vietnam. Our recent investment in agriculture includes a $75 million investment in Cambodia for sugarcane, 20,000 hectares of land of sugarcane plantation, plus a sugar plant, molasses, and alcohol, plus a 26 megawatt plant in the province of Auxesia in Cambodia. We did it through a Vietnamese company that we invested in. The Vietnamese company is called NIVL. This is a company that we helped invest in the sugar in Vietnam and now expanded into Cambodia. Other investments that we've made recently is we invested in the 3 largest fertilizer plants in Vietnam, one of which is listed on the stock market called DPM. And we invested in another 2 fertilizer plants in the north. And another investments we made in the sort of the agriculture space is called Indian. They do bird nests, swallow nests. I think the ladies know this, maybe the men don't know this very much, but the ladies do love this. The bird nest costs about $2,500 to $3,500 per kilo in Vietnam, and we can get about $6,000 to $7,000 per kilo in China. Okay, this is the investment that we've made, and obviously we continue to invest in manufacturing and agriculture. So that's just a brief synopsis of who we are at Vina Capital. Without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to each and every one of these gentlemen to introduce themselves. But first, I'd like to do a quick introduction, and they can talk about themselves more. First is a gentleman named Jun Nam. Mr. Nam is currently the CFO of Trung Nguyen. Trung Nguyen is one of the coffee businesses in Vietnam. You've seen some of the shops around the city, and I'm sure some of you purchased the coffee products at the grocery stores, and some of you may have seen it outside Vietnam. They're a huge exporter, a great brand, and coffee, as you know, is the 2nd largest exporting business for Vietnam. And so Trung Nguyen is in that perfect spot of agriculture as well as manufacturing. We also have Daniel Mitchell with us. Daniel is with Grandis Timber, and he can introduce himself. to you folks a bit later. And we have a gentleman with Olaf, and I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm gonna mess it up, but let me get it right correctly here. Well, I'll let you introduce yourself. Okay? He is a friend of mine, but I just got off the airplane. My apologies, but I'm going to let him introduce himself. But please, maybe Mr. Olaf, can you introduce yourself first, and then follow Mr. Nam.
I'm Prakash Noor. I look after Olam's operations in Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, and Indonesia. We have a very large imprint in this region. Globally, Olam is one of the largest supply chain managers of agricultural products. We have global leadership in about 14 products such as cocoa, coffee, rice, cotton, etc. We are present in about 65 countries globally. Our turnover last year was about 12 billion US. We're listed in Singapore, we're headquartered in Singapore, and Asia provides a very, very strong growth impetus for us. Thanks.
My name is Daniel Mitchell, CEO of Grandis Timber. Grandis Timber is a joint venture between SRB International, a company I founded in 1999 to explore investments in Southeast Asia, and International Woodlands Company of Copenhagen, who manages Danish pension fund money, their timber assets in the alternative asset category to the tune of about $2.5 billion worldwide. Our strategy is the development of new timber assets specifically for type and quality, character, meeting the requirements for institutional investors. So our exit strategy is specifically targeted to all of those people standing on the edge waiting for a good investment that meets their criteria.
I'm now CEO of the Tunguin Group. Sorry, my English is very poor, so I use the English. Tunguin là nhà sản xuất cà phê lớn nhất Việt Nam. Và cái tầm nhìn của Tunguin là trở thành nhà lãnh đạo cà phê thế giới. Và cái sứ mệnh của Trung Nguyên là kết nối và phát triển những người yêu và đam mê cà phê trên toàn thế giới. Cho nên Trung Nguyên đã làm cái gọi là thánh địa cà phê, thủ phủ cà phê ở Buôn Đôn. Và hy vọng một ngày nào đấy tất cả chúng ta đây và các anh chị có thể có lúc nào đấy có thể đến thánh địa cà phê ở Buôn Đôn. Hiện tại thì cà phê là Việt Nam là nước sản xuất lớn thứ hai thế giới về cà phê, với cái doanh thu năm xuất khẩu vừa rồi khoảng độ 2 tỷ đô. Thì Trung Nguyên đang muốn cùng với lại cái chính phủ Việt Nam để sao phát triển ngành cà phê để thành một cái gọi là cái quyền lực mềm và thông minh và cà phê, với cái sự phát triển nó tăng trưởng lên khoảng độ không phải 2 tỷ mà 20 tỷ trong vòng khoảng độ 7 đến 10 năm tới. Thì đấy là một trong những cái mà khá là thách thức đối với Trung Nguyên, cũng như là điều đó nó sẽ làm tốt hơn rất là nhiều cho đất nước Việt Nam và cho những người mà gọi là yêu về cà phê. Trung Nguyên sản xuất cà phê đan xay, cà phê hòa tan và có cái chuỗi các cái quán cà phê. Hiện tại thì chuỗi quán cà phê của Trung Nguyên bao gồm cả cái chuỗi của riêng của Trung Nguyên và chuỗi các cái quán cà phê quyền. Và bên cạnh đấy là có hàng nghìn các cái quán cà phê mà có cái tên của Trung Nguyên ở bên cạnh. Bởi vì từ sau cả Trung Nguyên có một người đứng đầu về cà phê. Mặc dù Trung Nguyên mới chỉ ra đời 15 năm. Trung Nguyên bắt đầu từ năm 1996 tại cái phong cái nhà máy nhỏ tại thủ phủ Buôn Đôn. Và sau đó thì năm 1998 thì phát triển cái quán ở thành phố Hồ Chí Minh, và dần dần thì phát triển ra ở các cái thành bên sản xuất về cà phê hòa tan. Và năm 2009 thì Trung Nguyên có mua cái nhà máy cà phê hòa tan của Vinamilk, và ngay lập tức thì đến năm nay chúng tôi đã chạy full công suất của cái nhà máy của chúng tôi mua của bên Vinamilk. Xin lỗi.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd like to start off to discuss a bit on the agriculture side. the business, and then perhaps we can go into the manufacturing side. A lot of us here are curious, okay, we hear that Vietnam and Cambodia, even China, is a great place for agriculture. Prakash, maybe because your company is more global, can you sort of give us a sense, how does Vietnam and Cambodia compare to some of the other countries like Africa that Olam is in, and what are the challenges that Vietnam faces as it develops itself and to become more competitive over time with these other economies?
Thanks for the question, Andy. It's a very relevant question. We are living in a world where commodity prices have shot up, and people are very worried about the current volatile conditions in commodity. One key question is, most people that I meet ask, what do you think? Is this trend sustainable? Or do you think it's a flip and the prices will come down? So our view can be encapsulated in the next 3 or 4 points. The first is, traditionally,